So today we are going to be renovating the 100 Baby Challenge house. In the last episode I mentioned that we were getting a little bit crammed and it's getting a little overwhelming. There's not a lot of room for all the kids and we're just gonna keep having more of them. I actually was unable to have any more recently in the series because I just ran out of room. So I did this live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Vixella, also linked in the description. And we rebuilt the house and I'm gonna show you it now. Okay, so I started out by putting all of the necessary items in my household inventory because we actually ended up moving entire neighborhoods. We ended up going to Brindleton Bay, I think? No. We went to Hinford on Bagley. I just wanted to get into an area where there was a lot to do, but also where I could have more space and like also still enjoy the area. Plus now we get new fresh faces and stuff too, which is nice. But we ended up moving just because unfortunately the world that came with growing together is just not like that lively. Like there's just not too much to do. Where we were already placed in that world was like the most exciting spot. Not that we really leave the house much anyways nowadays because we're just taking care of babies like left and right, but there was nothing really else to do and there was nowhere else to move, and that neighborhood only has a few bigger lots and they were not in that section unless I demolished the recreation center, which I didn't want to do because I like it there. So I ended up just moving entirely different worlds. We just went to a totally new place. But here you can kind of see me trying to organize different rooms for different ages. So I have one for babies and infants, and then the next one is for toddlers and children and teens, whenever we eventually have teens. Or maybe teens can get their own room, I don't know yet. I've definitely put us on a big enough lot to where we have more than enough room to expand. And for those of you who are gonna ask, because I know you will, about the basement where we're gonna kill off all of the baby daddies, we ran out of money, unfortunately, before we could do that. But we should be able to do that soon. I'm really hoping anyways, because I think it's such a funny idea. And we have those cow plants and stuff that I haven't planted, so much to do. But here I'm just kind of like, you can see I'm kind of doing it like a puzzle. I'm like making a room, putting the things that I brought with me in that room, trying to figure out a good layout, and then like sticking it onto the house. It was the best way I could figure it out. Now I will say this is not like the most glamorous of houses. It's functional. We went with function over beauty, but it's not bad. I made it very pastel, very like kid friendly in a way. But this is just sort of like a beginning stage. As you can see, we don't have a ton of money. We only have 12,000 simoleons left at this point. So not a lot. I was like, oh shoot, I forgot to do a kitchen. I forgot to do a living room. I forgot to do bathrooms. Oh my God. So I was like scrambling and I was like, I don't have that much money. We don't even have any wallpaper, furnishings, nothing outside. Like I was like, oh God. In the end, I actually think that we did do a pretty good job. There's only one thing at the end of this build where I would be like, try to ignore it. It will be fixed later and you'll see at the end, just stay tuned. But we went through a couple different iterations of this like living room, kitchen area, because in my mind, I was like, the living room is the least important room. If anything, it just serves as an entertainment room to like get people's fun up from like watching TV or playing video games or something. Mostly I was like, I need a big enough kitchen to where, especially once we have teens, like they can help cook meals, people can come eat dinner at the table together, like people, like someone can make one big meal and then like serve it. That was what I was like thinking in my mind. So I was trying to make enough space to have like a substantially good sized kitchen with being able to have like a full-size table like this. It was so tricky. You're gonna see me struggling here for like a while. I ended up building like a little bump out on the side where the table can go. Yeah, it's starting here, but I just was like, I don't know. Oh, we ended up keeping the like froggy chairs. We ended up just changing them all to like different characters because I thought it was cute and it obviously was like very kid friendly. I imagine kids would love that. I love that. And I'm basically a giant child, so worked out for me. The living room did happen, but barely. It barely happened. You can tell it was like a very, not last minute, well, sort of. This sort of was a last minute job, but more of like this is the least important room. Also, if you're wondering where the rest of the children are, our 2 kids are actually at school during this point. So they went to school, we moved houses, they're gonna come home to a different house. Surprise! Also, yeah, doing the roof on this house was a complete nightmare, so yep, don't even want to talk about it. You'll see in a minute. I struggled, but it's coming together. Here is when I change all of the chairs to different characters. We've got some huskies in there. A little shout out to my own dog. Hey. But I thought it was cute, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna have fun with this place. We're gonna have pastel colors. It's gonna be cute. The kids are gonna love what they see. Here's where I start doing the roof. It took a long time. It took a very long time. Even having to rewatch this process is agonizing. But I actually think it turned out pretty well. Like, for the shape of it, it's not too bad. Luckily, roofs are free. Thank God. That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, oh, thank God roofs are free. I'm not blowing all my money on this because like this would cost me a fortune. It was really, really tricky. I just had like look at that little bump out. Like, what the heck? Like it's so weird looking. And then I was like, now I have to put like a column, like all this stuff. It was just like, bleh. It was all sorts of weird and wacky, I'm not gonna lie. But like, that's not too bad, I don't think. Now that I'm looking at it again, it's been a couple of days since I did this. And I don't hate it, actually. I was trying to make that a fully covered porch as well. It didn't end up happening. It just like that bigger section was just throwing off my like little section in front of the door, and I liked that too much to like part with it. So I ended up just making right above the door the only part that was covered, which wasn't ideal, but I think it looks fine. And after I put the fence and everything on it, I think it was totally fine. And again, we were going for function over form this time. Usually I go for beauty, but this time I was like, well, you know, the old house was gorge, but it was just like not functional for this specific challenge. We need space. You'll notice the hallway in this house, big. Many Sims can walk down this hallway at once without getting in each other's way. That was the whole point. I just needed room. I was really channeling my inner EA house building. You know, when they don't have creators make them and they're just like huge and the rooms are just like huge with 2 items in them. It's kind of what I was channeling. But wait till I do the wallpaper and stuff. The room for the babies and infants, it looks like a nursery and it is so cute. I have this really cute like custom wallpaper. Oh my God, it's like perfect for that room. And I was trying to use debug items obviously to save some money. It was pretty tricky. I'm not like super accustomed to using debug items. I haven't really like used them too much, so forgive me if it doesn't look like amazing. I just wanted to add a little something, because obviously it would have looked really sad and boring out there if I didn't. And at this point, I was really starting to get worried about windows. Was that gonna happen? I'm trying to make a swirly path because there's like obviously a lot of space to fill. This is my pro tip, by the way. If you ever have a lot that's like kind of big, scoot the house back, draw like a swirly path, which I actually ended up having to fix and change. And listen, it definitely evolved into something else, and you'll see what I mean in the end, and I don't even want to talk about it, but we'll get there. This is when I was like, oh shoot, I forgot to put stuff in the bathroom, and I had this really cool like glass panel. It's CC, but it's so cool. I was able to, that one could have been another full bath, but I was like, let's save some money. Just having another area where people can go to the bathroom if I'm like washing children in the bathtub, they've still got another place to go to, I figured was good enough. We did bring the money trash can. As you can see, I'm doing pink appliances with this like cool teal kitchen. I couldn't afford upper cabinets at this exact moment in time, but they will be coming later. Yeah, I just love it. I just think it's like really cutesy and fun. A lot of custom content used in this. Obviously, I'm obsessed, as you might know from my other videos. The living room actually was kind of confusing to me for some reason. It's just like, could you even call that a living room? It's more like a little nook, a living room nook. I ended up switching the furniture around though, and it ends up looking a whole lot better. And here I was trying to be cheap and use like cheap wallpapers that come with the game, but then I ended up using CC that was like 10 times more expensive because, listen, I just can't help myself. I only have certain limits and I had to use it. I had to use it. What was I gonna do? Say no? It was looking at me right dead in the face. Oh, look at that. What did I tell you? Look at that wallpaper. Are you dead? Because I am. I'm a ghost right now. How beautiful is it? I can't even remember what color I ended up with. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls. Love gorgeous, gorgeous wallpapers. I love it. Yeah, we did bring back the the bakery things. Actually, I think that works really well. If you don't know, I had this little bakery stand thing that would normally be in a bakery. And what I end up doing is I will cook a bunch of food, stick it all in there because it's like slightly refrigerated. It doesn't last as long as if it's in the fridge, but it does last a little bit. And the kids, instead of having to go all the way to the kitchen to grab food, can just literally grab it from their room, like while they're working on their skills, so that I can hopefully age them up sooner rather than later. Like, it's so handy. It's one of the best things we ended up doing. Thanks to y'all's suggestions, of course. I did not come up with that idea on my own. I will not take credit, but it is a great idea. If you're doing a 100 baby challenge, I highly recommend you try that. It's really, really helpful. I really liked it. All right, so we're working on the outside now. This is again where I was like, I'm at 1500 simoleons. I haven't had any wallpaper. Am I gonna be able to have windows? I'll give you a little spoiler alert. We could afford windows. I was shocked. We actually ended up affording like windows for the entire house. Genuinely, I was shocked. Here's where that process started. I think I ended up using, did I use custom content windows? Part of me kind of wants to say I did. I can't remember. Did I? I go back and forth because I actually quite like the base game windows, which is great because that means that everyone can literally use them if I ever build anything. I did end up putting this on the gallery, if you were wondering. I did tweak it a couple of times after I put it on the gallery, so it doesn't look quite the same. That's my bad. But you just have to go to advanced in the gallery and make sure you do include custom content, and then you'll be able to see it. Note, if you download the game and you don't have my custom content, it won't show up in there. It'll just be empty. Like the wallpaper may not show up or whatever, but it's just the price we have to pay with custom content. Okay, so it looks like I did go with base game windows. I had a feeling I did, just because they were probably cheaper than the custom content ones. And I like these windows because they're like slightly longer than some of the other base game windows. It's just a nice look. It just looks better. Yeah, I couldn't believe we were able to do this. Are they $40 a piece? Is that what it says? That's really affordable. So that's super cool that we were able to do that, because that really, really made a huge difference. When a house doesn't have windows, it just looks like a prison. Okay? And it's very sad to look at. And I couldn't do a fireplace because we were like really low on money. I had to use like a debug TV. But you know what? We have a TV. How could I complain? I should have brought the other TV with me. I didn't even think about it. It was broken. That's why I didn't bring it. That thing was broken. So we left it back at the other house. It no longer serves me. I didn't want to fix it. And also, how cute is that couch? I couldn't find a matching one. So I ended up just keeping that one. Also, we were like so low on money at this point that I was like, forget it. I want this pink rug. It's just cute. Up that long wall right there when you walk into the house is gonna be the baby daddy wall. You might have seen me put the 2 pictures we have up there up on the wall. I found this cute rug, and I believe this is where things start to go downhill. We added our traits back. So we have a few traits that we added that are gonna be helpful. I uploaded it to the gallery, as you can see. This is where I start to change things though. So I noticed that because in this world, a lot of the lots are just kind of like floating. They're not attached to like sidewalks or roads. The path I made ended up looking a little bit weird because it just like stops abruptly. So I ended up making this like swirly thing that connects back to the house. It kind of looks like a star, which is kind of funny. And I loved how this looked, but this was debug grass and it's like so vibrantly green. It didn't really match anything. It doesn't change with the seasons because it's debugged. So I was like, this actually looks super freaking weird because it's so like nuclear green. So I ended up getting rid of it. We tried doing a couple different other options. There was another version of this grass with flowers and I tried it. That's the one right there. And I liked it at first, but then the amount of flowers was actually throwing me off. And I ended up deleting that too. So let me tell you what I'm gonna do before you freak out. Because when you see how I ended up leaving it, you're gonna be like, girl, what? That was your choice? The one I wanted to use was the one that you actually have to purchase. I was at 39 simoleons, so could not afford it. So what did I end up doing? Let's try a pond. That didn't work either. Let me just go ahead and spoil it for you. That didn't work either. I didn't like it. It looked weird. I didn't like it. I said no thank you. It was free, but I said no thank you. So what I ended up doing, I painted the whole thing with dirt as a reminder to myself to, when I have enough money, to fill that sucker up with the grass that I do want. And yeah, that's what it looks like right now. I told you it was not a happy ending for the landscape. But it will be. It'll look good when I'm done, I promise. I promise it'll look good. But that is gonna be all for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you like the house. It's not the most glamorous thing in the world, but it should be more functional. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.